Viego, the Ruined King. We all love him, we all question his weird accent, we all would love to help him find his babe. He's objectively the most fun character in League of Legends, because he is every character in League of Goddamn Legends. I shall explain. Viego's passive is another case of thievery in League of Legends. We've had Zoe who can steal spells, Silas who can steal ults, Hecarim who can steal your LP, Nico who with no remorse commits identity theft, and now we have Viego who commits identity theft, but more. When a character Viego has damage in the last 3 seconds dies, they leave behind a spooky ghost wraith for 8 whole seconds. Get a pentakill and their whole neighborhood is gonna look like American suburbs during Halloween. Viego can then right-click the wraith to possess it, turning into that champion. He becomes the champion, gaining their basic attacks, their abilities besides their ult, getting all their items without the actives, moving faster towards enemies, and getting more and more angry with every possession. Taking form of a champion resets his ult for the time of possession, heals Viego with weirder scaling than pre-rework Sion, and the possession ends after 10 seconds or when he ults. This is what Viego's whole playstyle revolves around. Possessing people and using their abilities against their own teammates. In a way, this is like resets or Katarina or Jinx, because with every possession, Viego's skill potential goes back up because he gets access to a fresh new set of abilities again and also heals himself. When Viego goes into a fight and he doesn't happen to possess anyone, he's a skinny bag of 300 gold. If Viego goes into a fight and his allies help him get possessions, you're fucking dead. And so is everyone on your team. Viego's Q, Blade of the Ruined King, has 2 passive parts and 1 active. Passively, he gets Blade of the Ruined King. Really, he just deals some current HP damage to people he hits with autos. The second part of the passive leaves a mark on enemies that he hits with any ability. Viego's next basic attack against the marked enemy strikes twice and consumes the mark. The double strike can crit and heals Viego for not too shabby amounts. This contributes to most of Viego's jungle sustain and is the only reason why he built Kraken Slayer instead of the other 2. Every strike can also give 2 stacks of Conqueror, so you might as well go play Jenga with all the stacking you'll be doing. Both of these passives also persist while Viego is possessing someone, so you'll gain most benefits from possessing ADCs. Well, it's not like you're gonna be able to choose it, but it's there. We haven't gotten to the active yet because it's boring as shit. Viego stabs in a direction. That's it. Viego's W, Spectral Maw, is his main gap closer and ganking ability, and dare I say it's probably the worst gap closer out of all the junglers. Seriously, I checked, and the only jungler that even came close was Karthus, but his slow is almost guaranteed, and it lasts longer than the stun. Viego starts channeling, slowing himself by 15% for up to 3 seconds. When released, Viego does what is technically considered a dash, and sends a blob of evil mist in a direction. The blob stuns the enemy and tickles them on the nose. If you wait a second when charging, the range will be longer and so will be the stun duration. Basically, think of this as a shitty Vice Q that doesn't deal damage and barely even moves you. Use it while ganking to engage on an enemy and hold them in place for hopefully long enough for your laner to realize he's getting ganked and react accordingly, or just pop it quickly during a fight to proc your double attack. Viego's E sends out an evil rug that stays on the ground for 8 seconds. When it encounters a wall, it spreads all around it, no matter how big the wall is. When Viego is standing on his fuzzy rug, he gets bonus attack speed, and if he's not attacking or casting spells, he also gets bonus movement speed and becomes camouflaged. This ability helps you clear the jungle faster, but be careful. If you throw it at a big wall, the enemy will immediately see where on the map you are, so try to limit the distance and not throw it at walls in the jungle. It also keeps the enemy on their toes, because they know Viego could be anywhere in the mist. Anywhere. There's also a very cool trick you can do. If you start casting your W and then you cast E while you're channeling, you will go invisible immediately. If you time it right, the enemy will barely even see you charge it up, meaning that you can stun someone while you're invisible, making this trick a good option while ganking. Viego's ult is his most reliable way of getting possessions. He selects an area in front of him and jumps in there, dealing physical damage to everything inside, knocking them away from the center of the strike. The most wounded enemy champion in the area doesn't get knocked back and instead takes bonus execute damage and gets slowed by 99% for half a second. Using your ult also discards your possession if you're having an out-of-body experience at the time of casting. When possessing someone, you get a free use of this ability, but when the possession stops, it expires. Use it at the end of a duel to finish someone off when they're low, so you can possess them and heal from the possession, and then go on to kill other people with the reset. Use it to chase running people because that's the only way you can even go through walls. Use it on Spaghetti for some extra spice, you're free to do whatever you want. Viego's power comes solely from other champions. He himself is lackluster and there is no way he could be any good with his kit as it is, if not for his passive. Being fed against this guy is so stressful because if you are a Fed Master Yi and you happen to get caught out and killed, the enemy now has a Fed Master Yi with an execute. And then they have a Morgana with an execute. And then they have a You get the point. Alright Kettle, but you've told me how he's strong and how he's weak, but I still don't know how to play him, you ask eagerly. And I answer. Early game, power farm quickly to get to level 3 and to be able to gank and duel other people. Your strongest power spikes are at level 3 and 6, so don't be afraid to stay in the jungle a bit more to get there quicker. When mid-game rolls around, look for skirmishes with your team and hope that your allies can lock down enemies for long enough to give you a possession, and therefore a reset. Don't forget about vision control though. Having a ward in the right place can be the difference between killing an ADC solo and diving headfirst into an angry mob. I'm really running out of things to say, so it's time for the runes, except it's not. It's a pointless segment, and with the meta shifting every 2 weeks, my rune pages and item sets go obsolete very quickly. You can just Google a mobile guide when someone much more experienced on a champion will give you way more insight into what and when you should build and take. With that being said, join my Discord server because it's just so goddamn lonely.